everyone, my name is Heidi and I'm coming to you from sunny Florida where I live with my significant other Bill. I want to give you all a warm welcome. If you're new, thank you so much for stopping by and welcome back to my returning viewers. Today is January 8th and it is a Monday. Happy New Year everyone. I hope it was peaceful and joyful and ready to start the new year with a bang. So if you'd like to find me other than YouTube, I'm on Instagram and Ravelry is Yarn It Heidi. And also if you need to know anything about what I talk about, it'll be in the description box below. It's been a while since I have podcasted. It's been like close to 2 months. I'm a little rusty, so please forgive me. I'm tongue twisted. My thoughts are all over the place. I'm not as organized in the head, so I gotta get with the program. Okay, so let's get going. Today for this podcast, I have some things I'm gonna show you that I've worked on recently. Not too many finished because I sent them off as gifts or I kept some, but I'm pretty much want to talk a little bit about my year of review and some of my favorite things of the year of 2023 that I have made. So let's get cracking. Before we do that, anything I talk about, and if you'd like to know about it, will be in the description box below. And any comments, feel free. Okay, so the year 2023. For my total, I'm going to show a little template that Natalie from Nitty Natty put on our Instagram story. So I kind of like took from that and I used it. Why not? So this is what it looks like, but I'm going to post a picture up there later on. So my total finished objects was 94. And that, I really think the number is higher because I didn't count in any of my cross stitches. I've done a little doodah projects like this one. I don't think I even counted something like this. Look how cute this little sprout is. So I did some things like that, maybe a gnome or two here. And also, I did, well, you know what? I'll talk about that in a minute. So total finished objects were 94. 52 of them were knitted. And I would say a lot of them were socks. A lot of gift knitting, like I made some fingerless gloves. I've made some hats. I've only did, how many shawls did I make? I didn't make too many shawls because I was burnt out from the Stephen West one. So just a lot of odds and ends, which shows you, again, my thinking, my mojo was a little bit all over the place. And I finished up blankets, knit and crocheted ones. So that was long to do. So I was really all over the place when I looked at my stuff. Now so 52 knitted and I did 42 crochet. So I was happy about that. That crochet has been back into my life in full force. But a lot of them were from these coasters I've made for gifts. I think I made close to like 35. So I counted them in 35 and then I made like a crochet elephant, like a toy. I did like a little, I made these Christmas trees. I didn't even count those. So my number really is more than 94. And then there was a lot of cross stitching, maybe like 10 projects of cross stitching. So I'm just keeping this with the knitting and crocheting and rounding it back to 94, probably close to 100. Okay, my favorite project of 2023 was the anthology throw by Helen Stewart, also known as The Curious Handmaid. And my greatest yarny achievement this year was knitting a sweater that finally fit me perfectly. So, and last year, my goal was to be a better sweater knitter. So I think I'm going towards that goal. I think I worked towards it and I'm getting better and better. So I don't know if I have a goal this year. Probably the same thing, being better at sweater making. And I don't really know if I have too many goals. Just being better at my knitting, learning new stuff, being better at it. And that's it. I guess I could also say be a better crocheter because I'm still not that great. So I'm thriving for that. Okay, so that was basically it. I would say my year when I the beginning of the year, a lot of the projects I did were not my favorite, and I was going through kind of like a a bad or sad time, because my brother just passed away, and I guess I didn't want to do anything complex. I just did simple things, and maybe that's why most of my favorite things were done towards the middle and the end of last year of 2023. So that's how I look at my what my place was like in 2023. A lot of sadness at the beginning, and then I started getting my mojo back towards actually like the fall. I really wasn't feeling that great until the fall. Well, anyway, so that was my year of review. So I saved these, so I always like to look last year. Last year, let me see if I have last year's, how many projects I did. Let me see. Wow, 57. But I didn't do as much gift knitting. I went on a trip in the summer last year of 2023, and everybody that was on the bus tour, I made a coaster for. So I counted that in. So yeah, last year only 44 knitted items, 13 crochet. Wow. So what a difference. But I made a lot of little things this year. So that is my year of review. Now I'm going to go over my 5 favorite things from last year of 2023. Some of them are gifted, so I don't have them, but I do have the pictures I'll post here. And some of them I still have because I'm not going to part with those. They're my favorite too. Okay, so number 5. Well, I have one here. Actually, I couldn't decide, so I have 2 in the 5 spot. So the first one was my Ditsy Socks. I loved making these. They fit me perfectly. These Ditsy Socks is by Lisa Mulch. And I don't, with these things that I've made, I might not remember the yarn, but this one I think is Mandy's Makings. So, and it's a fingering weight yarn. I don't know all the particulars of the pattern, but I just know that I loved making this picot edge for the first time. It was like a folded brim, and then you, it's hard to say, but you do yarn overs first, and then you fold it over, and you make this pretty picot edge, and I love doing it. These were fun to make, and they fit me perfectly. So that is number 5. And tied with number 5 was the Megan Jane hat by Katie Pompa, and that one I gifted to my son in Oregon. I loved making this hat. I'll post a picture. And as much as I loved making the hat, the pom-pom on it came out so beautiful. So that is my number 5 spot. The next one is, for number 4, is I'm wearing it. It is my Canuss sweater. This is by Elizabeth Judith. And this is the sweater that finally, let's see if I can get a picture of it, that finally, it's a little wrinkly, finally fit me the way I wanted to fit. I love this yoke here, and it wasn't hard. The yarn that I used was Circulo. I don't remember the colorway. I have to fix my camera. I don't remember the colorway. And I don't remember the size needle. I didn't look it up. But all I know is I kept trying it on to see if it fit. I went with this part. Fit me good when I was knitting. It was according to the pattern. But then I had to increase when I got to the waist for some reason, just the way it was fitting. So, and the length is perfect. I really love this sweater. So, and the color too. So that was my number 4. Now the number 3rd one, going down 5, 4, 3, is the steamer train I made for my son. It was a stocking. I'll post it. I used Knit Picks palette, their yarn, and it was a color work, and it was so fun. It came out so great. He loved it, and yeah, and that was by the Steamer Train, was by Ursula Almeida. So that was that one. Number 2 was my Mandela Afghan. I will show you a picture because that I gifted to my son too, because he lives up north. It's a very, very heavy blanket, very detailed. It took me a year and a half to make. It's the Mandela Afghan. It's a kit by Annie's Kits. I saw somebody else making it and I wanted it, and that was a beast to make, and you'll see why. Flowers that I had to it was crocheted that I had to do separately and attach them, 36 flowers, all kinds of stitches I've never done with crochet, and that really was a love of labor project. So that was my number 2, and that has been gifted. My number 1, and a lot of you, if you watch me or you're my friends, or know how much I love this one, and it's right behind me. It is the Anthology Throw. I love it. This might be my all-time favorite. Let's see if I can give you a glimpse of it. This is the Anthology Throw by Curious Handmade, or Helen, also known as Helen Stewart. And it was so fun to make, and it's a circular blanket, which was different. Most blankets I make are squares or rectangles. This I used with an advent from 2022. It was it Lofty Loops? Yeah, I think it was her advent. And so that means, you know, a striped day. I did run out as you get further along of the minis, so I just kept going and going. I just didn't stop. I used up all the minis I had. And at first you get like 500 stitches. By the end, it's 1,000 stitches on here. And it was a lot of stitches. I ended up putting the stitches on two circular needles so that they would all fit. So I loved making this. It is beautiful, and it's lightweight, and it's drapey. A lot of times when it gets cold near the air conditioning, I put it around my shoulders. I put it behind my chair as a decoration piece. It is a beauty. A lot of people are making it now, I guess, after, you know, seeing everybody else do it. So it really is gorgeous. Look at that. It's my favorite. So that's my number 1. I feel like David Letterman going through the top 5, going backwards. Okay, we are done with that. Let's move on to finished objects. Okay, I have one finished object because most things were gifted and sent off, and that is a pair of socks. One of the funnest ones I've made. This could have gone in my top 5 too, but I had to draw the line somewhere. Okay, so these are called the Hedwig socks. Here's this one, and there's a left and there's a right. Aren't they sweet? You see the owls in there? This is by the Lopsided Crafter. Her name is Erica. She also belongs to the member of the Love and Stitches membership by Nitty Natty. And she designed this pattern, and I loved it with the owls. So I had to get it, and I tried it. This was something I wanted to do. It was in my Ravelry queue, and I just wanted to do it. I looked through my queue, and I said, let's do it. So I love the pattern because also you could she writes it out for cuff down or toe up. I think that's great, you know, because some people only do toe up and some people only do cuff down. So you could do either one with this pattern. The yarn is from Mandy's Makins. I don't know the colorway because it was one of a kind. I made a size small, so that's 56 stitches. And I always do for the cuff like 15 rows. I like that best. I don't like a very big cuff. And I did a slip stitch and gusset heel flap. On her pattern, I think it's a shadow wrap. I do not like the shadow wrap. A lot of people like it. I do not like it because for some reason there's a gap in there when I do it, and I don't want to see any holes or a gap in my heel. So I did my slip stitch and gusset. Then I did 44 rows for the foot. For the heel though, I do, even though it's a size small, I do a 32 row for the heel flap because I have a very, very big instep. So I have to accommodate for that. 44 rows for the foot. And I'm going to gift these anyway to somebody because she loves owls. Look at that. Then in here, there's beads for the eyes. I happen to have in my stash these blue beads. They're so pretty. And they're a size 6. So easy to bead and knitting. Everybody should try it. It's not as hard as it looks. It really is. 1, 2, 3. The only thing is it's a little more time consuming, but it's not hard. It just takes an extra step, and that's it. So that's it for my Hedwig socks by the Lopsided Crafter. Love, love, love these. Okay, we are going to move on to works in progress. Okay, my works in progress. What do I have? Oh, here we go. It's still in a Christmas bag. I really have to switch out bags. This is a hat. It's called Same As It Ever Was. And it's by Sarah Jordan. It's almost like, if anybody knows, if you don't know, it's almost like a Musselborough hat, which you keep knitting. It's like a long tube, and then you put one side into the other. So the yarn I'm using is by Urth Yarns. Is there a colorway? It's just a number, 2037. And this will be for me. I like browns, and I need another hat. The hats that I've made are either too small, too big. So this one I'm going to try, and it's, to see if it will fit good. Okay, so it's Urth Yarn merino sock, and it's on a size 2. And the only difference between this and a Musselborough is the beginning. It gives, you do a different kind of increase, and it gives like this swirl type look. And then that's it. And then it tells you to measure your yarn so that you know how much you're going to need for the crown when I get to the other side. I still have probably about another 6 inches to do on this. And then I'll do the crown, and then it will be done. Hopefully it'll be a finished object by the next time. I love the way it's knitting up. It might be a little big, but not too terribly big. Yeah, so that's Same As It Ever Was, the hat. It's just like a Musselborough. But after this, I don't want to do those, everybody loves the Musselborough, and I do love the look, and it's so warm. It's a double knit, but it's so boring after a while to knit like 20 inches is a lot. It gets boring for me. I like a hat that has a little bit more, interest in it. So that's my own opinion. But I still love the way it looks and the way, it feels on you. It's a nice weighted hat. Okay, so that's that one. The next one that I love doing, because I was trying to find a project to do with my Advent from last year. So, anyway, which maybe this was, I'm trying to think which Advent this was from. This was from last year, this Advent. You know what, this anthology, I think this Advent was from 2021. I'm so confused with my Advents. But anyway, the next one is a bag that I'm making. It's called the Whidbey Bag by Wool and Pine. And this is it so far. And let me tell you some information. It's by Wool and Pine. You use a size 4 needle, and the yarn, the black, the body of the bag is by Cascade Yarns. Anchor Bay is the base, Anchor Bay, and the color is 05. There's no color written there. So this is interesting. It's a paint pen, so I can't tell you too much, but you do 2 panels at the top, and then you attach them, because that's going to be where a drawstring is going to go through. See, there's holes in there. There's like a place to put a drawstring. Then you use your scraps or Advent minis to go up after the bag is done. Then you weave in your minis here. Look how pretty. These minis are from Ruby and Rose's Advent of last year, which was, it was 2022 Advent. That's the one that this is 2022 Advent. So look how pretty that's coming out. I'm on like day 16, and day 25 is probably only going to come up to here. I'll do a few more minis here, and I think I'll stop around there. So it has a little bit of a bottom to be black. Yeah, I'm loving weaving it in, but just a word of advice. If you're considering to do this, do not do black yarn, because weaving in these colors, it's hard to find the spot where you have to weave it in. You think it looks so simple, but on black, it's hard to find which leg to pick up. Anyway, next time I do one, if I do another one, because I love the look of this, I would do either a brown or like a gray. I think a gray would be really nice. If I do this again, I have to see how this one comes out. So this is how it looks. I do love the colors on the black. And inside, you kind of like weave in the ends together, or you tie a knot. And then I'm debating about whether to line the inside of it to cover all that up. She doesn't tell you to line it, but I think I might. I know it's inside the bag, but I don't know. I think I'm going to line that. I don't want those all showing. It's supposed to be like that. She tells you how to do it, but I don't think I'm going to, I don't want that showing. So anyway, yeah, that's it. That's my would-be bag. Okay, and again, this will be linked below if you're interested in checking it out. And the advent was from Ruby and Roses. Okay, the third one that I have, is that all I have? Yeah, is a pair of socks I'm making. This also is in my queue. Again, I gotta switch out this bag. This one is in a Hanukkah bag. I have a Christmas bag and a Hanukkah bag. Okay, this is the Zigzagular socks, and that is by Prairie Girl Designs. And, let me see, okay. And the yarn is, who's the yarn by? Oh, it's a Lion brand, Sock Ease. And it didn't have a colorway. I got it on special. I don't know if it had a colorway attached to it. It said no color on it. So this is, I'm using a stash yarn for the cuff. It actually matches perfectly with the color of the, let me see if I can get it, of the sock yarn. I happen to have a color that really matches perfectly. Look at that. Wow, it was in my stash. So the pattern is it free or paid? I don't even remember if it might be a free pattern. And it has a little bit zigzag, and you can't see much of it now, but it's with a cable. It's like a 2x2 cable. Very simple. So what else? I'm doing 2 circulars on a size 1, 2.25 millimeter needles, 2 circulars, my favorite way of doing it. And what else can I tell you about it? I'm not doing much. I'm just following the pattern for how many repeats of this cable thing until I get to the heel. I'll do my slip stitch and gusset heel, and then the toe. It should be 1, 2, 3, easy peasy. So that's all I'm up to with this pattern. You really can't see much. Hopefully the next time we speak, I'll have at least 1 sock done. We'll see. I'm excited about doing that would-be bag because it's fun to weave in those colors. That's all I want to do. So we'll see how much further I get. Okay, let's move on to acquisitions. For acquisitions, I have a couple of things. Some I got before the holiday, excuse me, but I wanted to give them justice, because, they are small businesses, and I want to mention them. Oh, excuse me. Okay, the first one I got, because she was having such a good sale, and I wanted to support her. She's a small business. She just started dyeing. Excuse me. I've had a bad cough. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. Anyway, it's this yarn is from Inked Wool, and that dyer is Wanda. And she just started dyeing last year, and she had such a good sale. And this is called Inked Sock Set. It's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. There is, the mini skein is 93 yards, and the main skein is 462 yards. The colorway is called Heartthrob. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Probably socks it as a mini. And, yeah. I don't know, right now I gotta put it in my stash and think about what I'm gonna do this year with my projects. Okay, the next one is from, I subscribe to Yarnable. Oh, I love this subscription box. She gives you so much stuff. Yarnable is also known as Hypnotic Yarn, and this is January subscription, and it's called, let's see, excuse me. It says, new time, now time, how time flies. It's a January colorway, how time flies. And along with it, first of all, she gave you a bag of pecan caramels. Oh my gosh, I got rid of them. I had some and passed it on. I just have to take a sip. Okay, then in that bag, besides the yarn was these caramels, I got rid of those because I was eating them. And then a progress keeper of like a clock. Isn't this cute? A clock with 2024 emblem on it, like it says 2024. That's such a nice memory to keep. And then this is what I really loved. Oh, one fell out. This is such a great idea. These is like when you're casting on, and just say you have to do like 200 cast ons. So every, just say 25, you put this marker in there. And if you count, you know, when you're up to 50, you can put that on there, and then 100, and then there's like 300, 300s of them. I love this idea. I can't wait to use this when I have a big cast on and you start losing count. This way, this takes care of that. Isn't that a great idea? So that was my Yarnable subscription. I didn't know that you could skip a month, but sometimes you look at them and you just want to have it. So that was that one. Okay, my last acquisition, because again, she was having such a great sale. I couldn't resist. I gotta stop because I'm trying to reevaluate and organize my yarn and start using some of this stuff. It's a shame. You love it at the time and then it gets pushed in the back and then you never see it again and it's like wasted. And you're like, oh, I love this. And sometimes you change the way you feel about things like a few years down the road and then you don't like it anymore. So why not knit it when you love it, right? So I got to get better at that. That should be a goal of mine. Is I know everybody says stash, work from your stash, but I don't want to not fall in love with my yarn again. I want to love it and knit it up and not fall out of love with it. Okay, so this is the latest ones I got from Daisy Stitch Company. Again, she was having a great sale. I had to get them. It was like 2 for a minimal price. And what color is this? This is Bonfire. Look how all those colors in there are nice. And this one is Frogget. And this is cute. She's got a little stitch marker of a frog there. How cute is that? Yeah. So I love it. And I'm the kind of person, I love almost any yarn, any color. But then like you put it in your stash and then when you get to it, you're like, you don't love it as much. So I got to work on those things. Okay. That is my acquisitions. Let's move on to life adventures. My life adventures have been so busy because I haven't spoken to you guys in so long. So I'm just going to recap it quickly. Okay. Well, Thanksgiving, we went to, it's been since Thanksgiving since I spoke with you guys, before Thanksgiving. We went to see my son in Portland, Oregon, and we had such a nice time there. And actually the weather was finally nice for the first time in Portland since we've gone. It's usually raining and miserable. This time the weather was perfect. And while I was there, I met 2 lovely ladies from my Love and Stitches membership that I belong to, and they belong. And we contacted each other and we met at a yarn shop called Starlight Society in Portland, Oregon. And they were so nice. I'll put a picture in of their names were Kim and Elizabeth. And it was so lovely meeting with them for like an hour at the local yarn shop. That's what I love about this membership, is that I'm meeting people from all over our country and all over the world. There's people from England, from Norway, Germany, so many from all over Canada. So I've met so many new people. So that was Thanksgiving. Then in between Thanksgiving and the Christmas/holiday, right after Thanksgiving, my sister Amy came in to visit, and we had a grand old time there. And I posted a lot in my, I did like a Vlogmas type thing. So we celebrated with my sister while she was down, being together. We had such a nice time. So we had a good time with my sister. Maybe I'll put a picture in of me and my sisters there. So then that was that. Then, while before the holidays, Natalie from Nitty Natty was visiting her in-law, her mother-in-law, and they were taking a trip down to the Keys. And me and my friend Esther go to a yarn shop, here in Florida, and a couple of other members too. We met too. We all met at the local yarn shop, Sheep Thrills, and Natalie, on the way back from the Keys, came by and stopped, and Kent stopped and visited with us in the yarn shop and stayed for like 3 hours and hung out. So, and when she came in, a couple of members came in that we never met before. This woman named Ronnie. I'll put a picture of all of us that met at the yarn shop there, that met with Natalie and Kent. So there's a picture of all of us. I don't know, there was like 8 that came at the store at this time to meet Natalie. And we got to meet her. She's living the van life, so we got to meet her van, which they call Lydia. So we all got a little tour of Lydia. And I think I took a picture of Natalie and Kent in front of Lydia. So that was a lot of fun. It was so nice. We all had this common bond to talk and laugh and show what we're working on. That was a great time. So that we met that at Sheep Thrills. Then for Christmas time, so busy. We drove up to Philly to visit Bill's kids and his granddaughters. So we drove up for the first time in a long time, because it was going to be so expensive to rent a car, like $800-900, and just to rent a car. And then the airfare was astronomical too. So we said, let's just drive and we'll stay overnight. It was still going to be cheaper with the gas, and staying overnight was still going to be cheaper than a rental car. So we did that, but it wasn't bad. We stopped at different places. We stopped for the first time at a Buc-ee's. We've never been to Buc-ee's, which is like a tremendous store with all kinds of foods. And oh God, you look at all that food, all these sweets and everything. And so we experienced Buc-ee's. I put some audio books on in the car. Thank goodness, because Bill loved that. And we had so many good books that we listened to. I'll get to that when we get to the TV and book section. So we drove up. We spent... we saw everybody. It was like a whirlwind. We visited everybody's houses and this and that. It was a great time. The weather was horrible. It was cold, and well, it wasn't that cold. It was like 50, but it was dreary and raining. It was like 45 to 50, but it was dreary, dark, cloudy. I don't think we saw the sun the whole time we were there. And then we spent one day with my son. We drove to New York, and we spent some time there. The only down part with the whole thing is, and believe me, I loved visiting everybody, but up in Philly, everybody that we visited has dogs. I'm allergic to certain dogs. Most dogs, except for like hypoallergenic dogs like poodles, shih tzus, lhasa apsos. Any of those dogs, I'm not allergic to. But every dog that his sons had, I'm allergic to. His sister had, allergic to. So on Christmas, we went to 5 different homes, to visit or whatever. They all had dogs. I was a mess by the time I got back to the hotel. Sometimes I stayed back on certain things. I said, I'll stay in, whatever. But my lungs were so inflamed. And then when I got to my son's house, he has a cat, which I'm allergic to most cats. And he has an old house. So between that, the mold and the mildew of an old house that he just bought, I had it. We were supposed to sleep over at my son's house, but I just couldn't breathe anymore. And we started driving, back south. We stayed at a hotel, and then we came back to Florida, the next day. So, but I was like, I couldn't breathe anymore. I kept taking the inhaling. So it's bad enough when you're there, you have the allergies, but the allergies last a long time. Like I'm still getting over a terrible cough, but last week and the week before that, it was horrible cough, almost like pneumonia. It turned into bronchitis. It was bad. I'm finally getting over it. So that was the only bad thing. With dogs, I can't stay too long. Meanwhile, I went to all day to 5 different homes. I could not breathe. So that was the only downside, but it didn't really put a damper on the time that I did have there. I had a good time, but when I came home, I really paid the price. So that was Christmas. New Year's Eve, because I was feeling horrible coming back, we came home the day before New Year's Eve, and I was just not up to it with the cough and everything. So we didn't do our plans for New Year's Eve. We stayed home. We watched The Twilight Zone. A tradition is I eat Chinese food on the night of New Year's Eve. So we brought that in, and it was just a nice, quiet evening, and I was okay with that because I wasn't feeling that good. We were also exhausted from driving. We just got back. So that was that. Then it's still going on. The weekend after we got back, like after New Year's Eve, Bill's son came for a little visit. They just left actually yesterday. So his son, Brian, and his fiance just came on a Thursday evening. New Year's Day was like Monday. They came Thursday, like late afternoon, and they left Sunday. We had such a ball with them. On Friday, we went fishing on a boat because Bill likes to fish and his son likes to fish. So we went on the boat that Bill had success with fishing with. Well, it was great when we first started out. First of all, we made a reservation for a boat. They called us back in the morning, said, we're not going out. It's too rocky. It's too bumpy. So, and it was a small working boat. So then we called up a boat that was next, and that it was a much bigger boat, and they said they're going out. So I said, okay, we can get on that boat. Well, it was bad. It was so rough and bumpy. I was getting nauseous. Bill has seasickness. Unless it's a calm ride, he is not good. When he fished, he was okay, but once the boat moved to another location, he was not good. We all caught fish, but the waves were so bad. I was like, you couldn't even walk on the boat. You'd have to hold on to things. I tripped over so many people. And also, Bill had every right to be sick because other people that were on the boat, like there was 3 other people that were vomiting over the boat. That's how rough it was. We couldn't wait till it landed. And then once it went back to dock, we were, fine. I wasn't so nauseous, but Bill, he was done for the night. He couldn't go out to dinner. He took a shower and went right to bed, and that was the end. Brian and his fiance, they wanted to go out for dinner. I said, go out and enjoy. They went to a place on the water, overlooking the beach, and I stayed back and had a quiet night, just knitting and watching podcasts, whatever I did, and that was it. So the next day, it was raining, miserable. So we wanted to go to a park where you can hike or kayak. That was out because of the weather didn't look good. Wanted to go to a green market, not good. So, but it was just overcast. So there was a water taxi you can go through on the intercoastal, like Fort Lauderdale, and go that way and see all the big and famous homes. So we did that. We went on the water taxi, and you can make multiple stops and get off to Las Olas, where the beautiful stores are. You can go to a fishing pier, all these places. So we went on that water taxi, and it was for hours that you go on it. And we saw all the big, beautiful homes of famous people, business people, baseball players, basketball players, where their homes are. And that was fun. They really loved it. Brian and his fiance, Katie, loved that. And then we stopped at one stop and we walked around. We were trying to find a seafood festival. That didn't work out, but we ended up buying these these donuts. They're called Hollywood donuts. Never had them. They're like this big. So we stopped and we all had a donut there. Then on the way back, there was another stop where there was a seafood restaurant. We stopped and ate there, and then we got back on the water taxi. But the weather was really bad now. It was raining unbelievably, and on the water taxi you're covered, but the sides are open. We were all getting wet, so they gave us ponchos, and it was getting darker and darker. And the boat was going faster and faster. These water taxis are slow, but this boat was starting to go fast. So then it was going faster. And then we finally got to where our car was, to get back to our stop. It was the last stop. So we got off, and then we went to the casino. We went out to eat again. We were eating the whole time because they like to eat. So then we saw on the news the next day, Bill told me that a tornado hit like 5 minutes south of us. We got out of there. No wonder that boat was going so fast. We got out of there before the tornado got to us. It was all over the news. A tornado hit 5 minutes south of us while we were going. It was so dark. I mean, we didn't know what was going on. So that was that. That was our excitement. Those kids had such a ball. And then they had to leave the next morning very early. So that was a great thing. Okay, let's move on now to TV and books. We really haven't been watching much TV except for like basketball and football, the sports. But while we were on the ride up to Philly and on the way back, we listened to two books and started another one. The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, really good. Like a psychological type book. Something happened in an old home years ago. Somebody inherited the house. Such a good book. The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. Then this book I really loved. This was the next book we listened to. It's called Birds in Flight by Anni Taylor. And that was actually a free book on Audible. I gave it like 5 stars. It was so good. It was about a mother and daughter that disappeared on a rainy night, and there's 2 girls left behind, and 1 girl was left in a car. Such a good book. I highly recommend. We listened to it. I don't know how it would be for a reading book. Excellent. Then I just finished the book. I read this book, The Maid by Nita Prose, and that was really good. That I gave 4 stars. And that was about a maid who found one of the hotel customers dead, and then a whole mystery of how that happened. That was really good. And now we started listening to it on the car, but then we came home, and I'm still listening to Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult. OMG. That book is excellent. I'm not going to tell you much about it because there's a lot of spoilers in there, and I won't get to it. But I'm loving it. I highly recommend that. And I'll tell you why when I finish it. But I love that book. So that's all I have for you today. It was a lot. Sorry for being a little rusty. It's been a while. But I'm so glad I'm back, and I'm so glad I'm chatting with you guys. I'd love to hear what your goals are for the new year, what your favorite things was from 2023. And I'm going to end it here. Have a great week, everybody. I wish you love and peace, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.